Okay, so this is the first real video that I'm doing. This is my top I'm working on, first off. I still gotta fix it a little. I'm working on the bottom half, but I just gotta fix this middle part. So today I'm talking about this book called The Island by Natasha Preston. And it is about basically this really rich guy who owns an island, made this island an amusement park. Hi, Lizzy. Lizzy's showing us right now. And so he makes this amusement park out of an island he bought because he's, rich. What else is he going to do with it? And he invites all these bloggers to come out and try the amusement park, the rides, the resort, the hotel, and just see kind of what it's like. And, use their platforms to gain popularity and get people excited for it, all the good stuff. And it is a horror thriller book, so of course there's a little bit of, murder, mystery, mayhem. Basically, we're following the story of Paisley, who is a crime vlogger. So we've got a lot of characters, and this is just a summary. I'll get more in depth with them in a minute. But basically we're following Paisley, who's a crime blogger. Now she's a teenager. A lot of these people all these influencers are teenagers. And so she is noticing that there's some crazy stuff going on, and she's trying to figure out who is causing all those problems. And so it's kind of like a detective, which I don't like detective and mystery books, but it's a little bit of that, but it's also a little bit of like a thriller and suspense, and it's definitely, it kind of reminds me of like a slasher movie with a little bit of like cat and mouse, Now, to go more in depth, so this is the part where I'm going to talk about the plot in case you haven't read it in a while or you're not sure if you want to read it. And this is just, we'll just get started. And then if you do decide you want to read it, just go ahead and skip, and I'll try to figure out how to mark. I know how some people do it in videos, they mark different sections. I don't know how to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. So we've got 11 main characters, and we have Malcolm, who is the rich sponsor of the island. This is my notebook so I can remember all the things I notated. Malcolm is the sponsor, the owner, the one whose idea this all was. His personal assistant is this older woman named Camilla. I say older, she's probably middle-aged. They both sound like they're like in their, well, he sounds like he's in his 30s. She sounds like she's in her 40s or 50s, if I had to guess. They don't say. So those two are kind of like running the main parts of it. Then there's Kenna, who is the cook. And then there is Reeve and Gibson, who are employees on the island. And they are best friends. They've been friends since before they worked here. And they're the ones that take the boat to bring the teenagers back and forth to the island. To the island. Quickly, the boats are sunk and they can't get out, but we'll talk about that. Those are like the main employees we know about. As for the influencers, so the main character is Paisley, and she is a crime blogger. So she does like the true crime podcasts, videos, the things I would listen to. Big yawn. That's a big yawn. Then we have Harper, who is kind of who Paisley kind of befriends, because Harper is a book blogger, so they're kind of got the same kind of like niche, not super popular. They become friends. And so Harper's a book blogger, and then we have Ava, who is a beauty blogger, and also Will, who is also a beauty blogger. Ava's super annoying. Everybody hates her, except for, her little boyfriend or whatever, who is Liam, who is, wait, is it Liam? No, I'm sorry, James. James is a movie buff. So Ava does beauty, James does movies, and they're flirting or whatever. I don't think they were dating before this. Then you have Liam, who is a gaming blogger. So we've got a gamer, a movie buff, a book blogger, 2 beauty bloggers, and a crime blogger. Honestly, I don't know why he invited all these people out here. I guess just because they have a strong media presence. But once they get to the island, things quickly go south. It starts out with the first night. Will, Harper, and Paisley kind of all, create a little friendship. And Will is like trying to get Paisley to be a little bit of a bad girl and go exploring against the rules at night. So they're like, hey, meet up at midnight and we'll go and see what it's like at night. And Paisley's like, hell yeah, like, I want to go see what it's like. That sounds creepy and cool. Which don't blame her. But she waits and waits and waits, and Will doesn't show up, so she's like, alright, screw it. She texts him, he doesn't answer. So she goes on her own to explore the park. Will never shows up the next morning, and she's enlisting a couple of people, Liam and Harper mainly, to like help her look for him and like figure out like, hey, something's not right. He's still not up. Like, yeah, it's a vacation, but he should be up by now. And they end up going and searching for Will. Will's dead. So they find his body later on, and it's pretty shocking for everyone. You don't expect, it's not what you expect when you go on a vacation, a exclusive tour, being the first people on this tour of this island. You're not expecting murder. So next thing you know, people start dropping like flies. Every time, and they have the whole like, oh, I think this person's guilty, oh no, it's this person, blah blah blah. So we go through it, and Paisley quickly teams up with Reeve, who's one of the workers, who she's got a crush on, and it sounds like he's got a crush on her too. And they go and look for the footage to see if they can see what happened to Will or where Will went. Footage is gone. Paisley notices Camilla, the personal assistant of the owner, saying a name and looking really scared, and the name was Robert. So they're trying to go through the files, and Paisley sees there's a file of convictions of the employees. Like, I don't know why they have that, but like they have a record of any of the employees who have a criminal record, and she wants to look at it, and Reeve is like, no. And then he tells her like he has a criminal conviction. So at first she's kind of like hesitant of him, but once she hears his story, she's like, no, I don't think it was him. She kind of goes back and forth on him a few times. She goes back and forth on pretty much, not everybody, but a lot of the people. So they end up being buddy-buddy. They agree not to talk about it. She understands, whatever. Then they go back upstairs. The lights get cut out. Oh, by the way, so there's a cell phone jammer and the internet wires have been cut. So there's no Wi-Fi, no cell service. Boat's been sabotaged, so they're kind of stuck here, and now they know that Will is dead. So before long, they go back upstairs, and the electricity goes out. The lights go out. And Ava's sitting on the couch with her little boo thing, James, and next thing you know, you hear a thud, and then lights come back on. Reeve is gone. James is dead. He's stabbed. And they don't know who did it. They're trying to say like, oh, well, I heard this, or I didn't hear anything there, blah, blah, blah. They don't really know what's going on. And of course, Ava's freaking the fuck out because she's the most unhelpful person there, and that was like her little crush, and now he's gone. And I lost my bowl of yarn. I hate when my yarn gets too low, and then it just like gets eaten by the couch, but oh well. Now, Kenna, the house cook, has been missing. I forgot to mention that. The cook has been missing, and Reeve is missing. So they go looking for, well, Paisley goes looking for Reeve. I guess several people do. And she's in the park, and she's, sees somebody with a knife, and figures it's this Robert guy that Camilla was afraid of. So she runs into the killer, and somehow gets away. This happens a lot. It's very much cat and mouse. So she gets away, and reports back, and they are freaking out, all the usual stuff. Next thing you know, Paisley and Gibson run into each other somehow or another, and Gibson's the other employee that's friends with Reeve, and Gibson and Paisley go looking for the cell phone jammer, because they know there's got to be one somewhere on the island. They find it, but they also find the killer, Robert. And not only that, but they see Robert stab Camilla in the stomach. And at this point, they've worked out that there's probably some kind of familial tie to Camilla and Robert, but they're not exactly sure what it is. Paisley's guessing it's her son, and she's like kind of covering up, like Camilla's covering up for Robert, but Camilla shows up, and they can't quite hear what she's saying, but she has her hands up, sounds like she's begging him to stop or something, and next thing you know, he kills her. Gibson and Paisley get freaked out, they run away, understandably so, and when they come back, the cell phone jammer is gone. Other people, everybody's kind of split up at this point, like kind of trying to do different things. You know, Ava and Camilla and Harper were hiding out at like a first aid kit before, or first aid shack before this, and you know, people are looking for Reeve, people are looking for each other, people are looking for the killer. It was just a hot mess. So Camilla's dead. Next thing you know, they're running, and Paisley finds herself in the haunted house ride, which she had been on earlier with Harper and somebody else, and it had already creeped her out. I can't remember exactly why she goes in there, but she does. And then she runs into Robert in there. And at the same time, Gibson and Liam were outside, and they said they heard noises, so they went inside to check it out. And Paisley's trying to get to Gibson, but the killer's between them, and so it's just like a whole, literally, like a Scooby-Doo chase inside of this haunted house ride. Very fitting. But that's when she discovers that Kenna is dead, and so does, I think, Gibson, but he doesn't say that till later on. They find that she's had her throat slit, and she's been stuffed in like a closet, which is like so disrespectful. Not that respects the common theme here, but you know, she seemed like she was really sweet, and everybody loved her, and that sucks. While they're in the haunted house ride, Robert does actually catch Paisley, and she fights back and gets away from him. So, you know, another encounter like that. This happens at least 3 times, probably more than that. But yeah, so she gets away. Cool stuff. The next big plot point is they all meet up and they decide that they are going to set fire to the check-in booths, because there's no way for them to contact. They've looked for the helicopters, they looked for radios, internet's down, there's obviously a jammer somewhere. I always love how much hair ends up in my knitting projects, between cat hair and human hair. If you ever get a crochet or knit project from me, it's probably got a lot of love and DNA in it, so there's that. Anyways, so they all decide, you know, they'll set fire to the check-in booths. It'll set off the alarms. If nobody's able to get a hold of anybody on the island, then they'll send people out to check, and that's how they'll get saved. Pretty solid plan. Actually, kind of proud of them for coming up with that one. So they succeed. They set fire to the booths, but somehow there's an explosion. They don't really explain that one. But somehow there's an explosion. Paisley's crushed under some debris. Next thing you know, she's awake and everybody's running, and Ava has like a piece of glass in her neck and she's freaking out. And so Paisley and Ava are running. They run into Harper, and they're all 3 running, trying to get away because somebody had said, Robert's here, like, he's here. So they're running away from where they just were with the fire and the explosion because they're trying to get away from the killer. So, unfortunately, Robert catches up with them, stabs Ava. Surprise, surprise. Honestly, I don't think anybody was that sad about her because she was annoying the whole one. I mean, obviously it sucks, but I mean, the characters didn't show as much remorse as they did for other ones. Ava's dead now. At this point, there's Liam, Reeve, Paisley, Harper, and Gibson. Pretty sure. So there's 5. And then we don't know where Malcolm is. Malcolm's been MIA the whole time, the owner. Turns out he is being held captive by Robert. We end up finding him. He's all tied up. Robert ends up stabbing him. So he's dead too. But before that, he kind of has this little villain moment of like, they figure out who he is. So Paisley's starting to come up with some ideas of like what's going on. And she's already kind of had, like I said, they figured out that Camilla and this Robert guy are connected. They're related somehow. Camilla is Malcolm's assistant, so, you know, they've already thought, like, maybe this guy's an employee, like, who is this guy? So she's starting to figure it out, and she figures out that this guy is in fact Camilla's son, and Malcolm is actually this person's uncle. And there turns out that the killer, Robert, is actually Liam. If you remember, Liam is the gamer. He's the gaming influencer. So Malcolm is his uncle, and basically Malcolm like got a huge inheritance, and his Liam's mom Camilla was screwed out of it, and it was just like a whole family drama, inheritance kind of drama. But he's angry because Malcolm has it all, and his mom and him are struggling, even though they try to act like they're richer than they are. So he's got a lot of animosity, and then like Malcolm doesn't even know what his nephew looks like, which is why he didn't recognize him. We kind of get an explanation about like how Camilla was in on it. Basically, like Liam had kind of lied to his mom a little, like saying that he wanted to sabotage the plan, but not like how, and not that murder was involved. So Liam's got some problems. Liam's got some problems. But he has this whole villain reveal moment, and he stabs Malcolm because that's kind of what he's there for. Then it's revealed that Harper and Liam are actually dating. And that's like the biggest betrayal, because Harper's been Paisley's main person this whole trip, and turns out, you know, they had met online and they were bonding over their messed up family dynamics. And the reason why Harper tried so hard to befriend Paisley is because Paisley was a threat. She was a crime blogger. They figure if anybody can figure out what's going on, it's Paisley. So Harper kind of does some damage control by being friends. And honestly, I didn't see that one coming at all, but we'll get to that in a minute. So next thing you know, Harper is holding Paisley with a knife to her throat for Liam, like trying to like keep her in place while he does his little villain moment. And next thing you know, Paisley gets one over on Harper and gets the knife from her and stabs her. She's still alive as far as I know, but she does get stabbed. At this point, there's only 4 survivors. Which, I say that, I don't know where Gibson went, honestly. I think he died. I don't think I marked it, but I think he died. I think he gets stabbed too. But anyways, so at this point there's Liam and Harper, the villains, and Paisley and Reeve. So there's 2 killers and 7 murder victims, 4 teens and 3 adults. I don't want to give away the last line because I always hate that, but I will say the ending was pretty cool. And I mean, this is a spoiler section, so you know what? I like it. We'll talk about it. This is what I always miss talking about on like Bookstagrams, so we're going to talk about it. But anyway, so Reeve and Paisley are fighting off Liam and Harper, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting. They can see the boats on the horizon. They know they're coming, and they are just trying to make it till those boats get here, just trying to survive until somebody can see them and see what's going on. And next thing you know, the people get there, they see, you know, something weird's going on, and they are about to board the boat, Harper and Reeve, and she's literally jumped, like mid-jump onto the boat, and Liam tackles her into the water. And the last line, which is my favorite line, I mean, because I love a good last line that makes you think. The last thing I see before I'm dragged underwater is Reeve's horrified expression. That's a good last one. That's a good thriller. That's a good thriller ending. Like, you think it's over, but it's not over. Lizzy, you're like my little gargoyle today. You're just keeping watch. So, reactions. Does my finger taste good? Overall, I'd give this book like a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good. I liked it. I wanted to keep reading it. But I have a few pet peeves. And overall, it was just like another slasher story, like another thriller story. So it wasn't anything like too exciting, but it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a fun read. It's not like one I'd be like, this is an amazing book. But this was an enjoyable read for sure. But the story overall, it's a lot of like back and forth, running around the island. And honestly, I don't do well visualizing that. I don't do well when they're like, oh, we're in the first aid shack, and now we're gonna run across the island to this. Like, I don't have a mental picture of where things are, and I'm just like, it's just a lot of running. You know, it's just a lot of running, a lot of chasing, a lot of back and forth, and like that's okay, but it's a little too much in my opinion of it, and not enough of like the story development. And then also like how they got to the conclusion was kind of out of the blue. Like they had picked up on the fact that Camilla and Robert related. They kind of just jumped to the fact that they have the same last name, so that means that they're mother and son. And they did kind of say like maybe it's her husband or something, but in my head I was like, there's so many ways that they could be related. Like that's kind of a big jump to get right there right away. And then in the end it's kind of like, it was just kind of like a revelation. Like I'm sure they had a little bit of a lead up, but honestly it kind of took me by surprise. But I was like, all right, whatever, we'll go with it. Kind of like Agatha Christie books, which I haven't read since I was little, and honestly I hate mystery books. Even though I admire Agatha Christie, I got really frustrated because the first time I read one of her books, I read the whole thing and I had my ideas, and it was kind of the same as this book, where it's like, you don't know, you question everybody a couple of times and you're still not sure, but then you get to the ending and they do a big reveal, and it's like, what? I didn't catch any of that. I'm not dumb, but like, I feel dumb. But at least Agatha Christie stuff was smart. And this one, it was just kind of random. But it's, you know, it's alright. Me and my friend talked recently about how more modern books don't use as extensive vocabulary, and it's written in a very simplistic way, which is fine, because, you know, books are more accessible now and you want people to be able to understand what you're saying, and there's definitely an appeal to that. Like, I personally like this book because I was not in the mood for something complicated and highbrow. I'm also, by the way, I'm using this baby wool happy sheet, 100% pure wool for this top. I got this from Hobby, which is like my favorite place ever for yarn. I'm so glad I found them, but I can't even remember. I think this is like my 5th skein of yarn. I did not expect this top to take so much yarn, but here we are. Thoughts. It was alright. It was alright. It's a fun read. Not like highbrow literature, like I said, but you know. I will say one of the biggest pet peeves for me is the way that they put emphasis on words using italics. And like, it really bothers me. Like, she said several times in the book, like, definitely, but the way she wrote it was like D E was in italics, Fi was not in italics, and then knitly was in italics. So it was like, definitely. Like, it was just, it's weird. Like, I don't like that, because that's not how I would naturally say it, and it's just weird. Nobody italicizes stuff like that. Like, just italicize the whole word. There was one where she wrote fight, but she wrote Fi non-italics and then GHT in italics. It's one syllable. How do you do that? Why do you not just write the whole word in italics? Like, I don't get it. That kind of irritated me, but you know, it's just a small pet peeve. It's not that big of a deal. It was just annoying because it happened quite a bit, and every time I saw it, I was like, ugh. Okay. But yeah, so I'd say it was a pretty good book. 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed reading it. I wanted to read it, so that's all I really asked for from a book. If you can make me like want to be interested in reading it, I'll take that. I'll take that. So, these are not Tootsie Rolls, by the way. This is where I keep my yarn scraps. So that's that book. It's pretty good. I like it. I probably will not keep this book. I'll probably donate it, or I need to start trading in my books. Like, I really like donating, but I'm broke and I don't make that much money, so I might do this to like half price books and see. I put a lot of books in that little library. I usually don't put that many in there. I usually put like 1 or 2 at a time, but I just had so many, and honestly, I need to go through my bookshelves and get rid of more. So I think I'm gonna do a book haul to Half Price soon. Which Half Price is one of my favorite bookstores, my favorite used bookstores. It's huge. I love going to the outlet in Bowling Green, but it takes some time. So. But next, I think, I'm a mood reader, so we'll see. I think I'm going to be reading The Mad Scientist's Daughter. But I don't remember it being what it says it's about on the back, which is that there's basically like a robotic constant companion that is like growing up with this girl. And it sounds like there's like, it's like AI, and it's like, well, how real is it? How does he grow with her? How does he find a place in the world? And it sounds like he gets a crush on the girl, which I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. I still have my stickers on here. I actually have this thing, I'll have to post it, that gets these stickers off really easily, but I have a tendency to like pick at it anyways. Now my nail is loose, and I hate that because I just did my nails. But I used to like having the stickers on the covers, but now I don't, especially like this is a Half Price book sticker. Like, I mean, it's ugly. This one, it just says it's a Philip K. Dick Award nominee, which I don't even know what that is. Never heard of that award, but you know, that one I don't mind so much. But I think I'm getting to the phase where I want my books to look as nice as they can. But I was excited to go ahead and film this today so I can get started on a new book. And I didn't make that much progress. I didn't even make a whole row on my crochet top, but you know what? It is what it is. It's all good. It's kind of hard to talk and do this, especially because I haven't thought about this book a lot. off the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to like stop and think, and like I had to take notes of like the plot. But I'm figuring it out. It'll get better. But yeah, so this is my top so far. It's gonna have like a little fun bottom. This is a shell stitch on the bottom, and this is just a half crochet on the top. And like I said, I just gotta fix this so it's less bulky in the middle. But yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm excited. I've never made something wearable. And also, I don't know how to increase the shell stitch. I watched a video, but it was honestly kind of hard to follow. So I'm just kind of doing it in one spot in the back, and I'm really hoping that it ends up looking okay and that it'll just look flowy when I wear it. But I think soon I'm going to have to just do all the way around because it's starting to get kind of like a triangle. But, you know, I like flowy. I don't think it looks that bad. I think it'll look alright. We'll see. But yeah. So thanks for joining me with this project and this book, and we'll see what's next. So thanks.